How do I choose the right college? Some young Americans take that question too lightly. Some of them are scared by it, scared by the glitter and the rah-rah, by the high standards of study, by the immensity of the whole experience ahead. In a search for perspective, we are going to visit the University of Illinois, large, Midwestern, Amherst College, small, East Coast, and on the other side of the continent, San Francisco State College, medium-sized, in a city. We'll talk to students, to young people who have met the task of choosing and are now living with their choice. They remember their own worries before taking this big step. They, if anyone, ought to be able to give us some perspective. Suggest how many different types of student there are. And we pick the places to visit the same way, not with the hope of summing up the system, but just to give a hint how broad and diverse it is. Amherst College is in a small town in Massachusetts. The enrollment is slightly over 1,000, all men. Students have to start with a rigorous liberal arts program of required courses to get a good foundation in the humanities and science before they can specialize. About 70% of them come from the East Coast, the rest from further afield. Where do you come from?
Come from Des Moines, Iowa.
It's a long way away. How'd you pick Amherst?
Well, I made a trip out here. I stayed with a group of the boys. I really liked their attitude. They were an intelligent group of guys who had a good time, too.
Yeah. Do you think that's a good notion to go and visit? I mean, you think that's important?
Oh, yeah. I think it's very important.
Uh-huh. Did you have any notion then what you wanted to be?
Yeah, I was interested in medicine from, well, junior high school on up. And I was definitely a pre-med when I came here and remained so.
So you knew pretty well what you wanted in the line of training and stuff?
Yes.
Well, why do you pick a small liberal arts place if you want to be a doctor?
Well, Amherst has an excellent reputation for pre-medical background. And I always had the feeling I was going to wind up in a big university complex anyway when I went to medical school, and therefore a small college would be another atmosphere and a good environment for me to spend 4 years in.
A good environment to spend 4 years in. Sounds fine. Trouble is, environment is pretty hard to judge, and it's very much a matter of individual taste. The courses, the professors, these things are easy to find out, but they're not the whole picture, for every place has got an atmosphere. And the things you do when you're not hitting the books are just as vital, when you're playing a game, or chasing a hobby, or rehearsing a part in a play.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew.
Drop in on any bunch of students who are living out some part of the college experience, and you'll get a dozen different versions of what the whole life means. You'll find people who have their whole career mapped out, and people who are still groping around. You'll get just about complete agreement on one thing, that college is tough in many ways. You'll get the same agreement that it does things to you. How'd you come to this place, Amherst?
It was the one place in the East that had a drama department I knew of.
So it had a special draw for you?
Yes, I came here with a definite purpose in mind.
Uh-huh. How long have you had this purpose in mind?
Well, really, since I was about 5, I wanted to go on the stage.
Uh-huh.
And first I was going to be a magician, then puppets. And then when I got in prep school, I became interested in acting. So I picked Amherst.
Can you remember back to when you first got here, how the place struck you?
Oh, yes, it was. We had this orientation week. I think all the colleges have that. And it's kind of candy and sweets all the way. Everything's going to be wonderful straight on through. And all the time, it was in the back of my mind, this isn't going to last, this isn't going to last. The end of orientation week, it didn't last.
What happened then?
Well, then the work started.
I think a great many freshmen are up here for the purpose that it offers a great challenge. And that the freshman curriculum at Amherst is identified, and whether rumor be this or not, that it has the toughest curriculum in the United States for the freshman year.
Yeah.
And this is good, I think. Yeah. If one can overcome this and meet the challenge, then he is well on his way.
There are other reasons also for choosing a place, besides the challenge of choosing a place where they do put a great demand on you. Reasons such as the other students in the college will you have a wide cultural interest, will be very bright,
right,
and very stimulating to talk with outside of your class. And your time spent outside of your classes is probably as important as within.
I think the thing that helped me the most in deciding where I wanted to go was the assumption I made at the beginning was that any of the colleges which I was looking at, and all of them were pretty good colleges, could give me a good education, and I could get pretty much what I wanted out of any college. So then it was just a matter of deciding which college I would rather be at for 4 years.
How'd you find that out?
Well, I stayed at a few big universities for a weekend, went to classes. I did the same thing at Amherst and 1 or 2 other small universities. I decided I definitely liked a small university, a small college better, and I chose Amherst.
You think that business of visiting is important?
If possible, definitely. That's the only way I could decide what I wanted was by visiting and talking to the people. Visiting itself isn't enough. You've got to really talk to the students.
What do you ask them?
Well, I asked them what they think of the college, what effect it's having on them. I try to find out, of course, the particulars of life, the way the college treats them, how they feel towards the other people. And I found, however, that generally they know what to tell you better than you know what to ask them because they've been through it.
Yeah.
And just being here, I find out what I need to know.
How long did it take you to figure this place out?
I still haven't quite figured it out.
What do you mean by that?
I've only been here 2 years, so I still haven't definitely decided what I'm going to major in. I haven't really had a clear conception of the purpose of Amherst education. I have made tentative answers as I've been going through, but these have continually changed.
Do you feel healthy?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good way to be?
I think it's a very good way to be, to approach it with an open mind. And I think this is the only way you can get the full benefit of a liberal education.
Before I came to Amherst, I hadn't had any history at all. And I'd had 1 course in summer school just to complete the 1-year requirement at my own high school. And in Amherst, I was forced to learn that history is a good subject. And I was forced to learn something about other countries and about my own country. I was more interested in math and technical studies. I didn't think that history was a subject as such.
Yeah. And you think this is this kind of broadening, making you broaden, making you learn about a number of things, good idea, huh?
I think it helped me whether I wanted it to or not.
What do you think a liberal education is for?
I think the purpose of a liberal education is to give the student a chance to stand away from society and from the problems of society for a while, for 4 years, to examine some of his values, some of his notions about his political, social, philosophical, moral values, and then after these 4 years to come back and to apply these to problems in society. And because he's been able to withdraw, when he comes back, he can look at it on it with new light.
Keep your eyes wide open. Don't make up your mind too soon. That's what they'll tell you when you're studying at college. And the same advice can be applied to the job of choosing a college in the first place. Because no one ought to run at this with blinkers on, as if everything were settled without examination, as if there were only one place to go. There's always the chance of surprise, and surprise can be valuable.
Well, one of the things I found was after I came here my freshman year that I hadn't really been able to choose a college till after I was in college for about 2 or 3 months, and I started realizing much more what college was about. Because in high school, I realized afterwards I didn't really have much of an idea of what college was about.
You mean you chose Amherst in a sense after you'd already chosen it?
Yes, but well, I had chosen it sooner, but I was much more aware of what the reasons were for my choice and what good reasons would have been after I was in college.
Do you think you could have gone about it in a better way?
Well, no, I think the only way I could have gone about it in a better way would have been had I known much more about myself.
What do you think about the attitude that some people take that there's a place for them and they got to find out what it is? There's only one college.
Oh, I think that's absolutely wrong. One of the things which I learned in college, which is very valuable, I think, is that college what a person gets out of college is so much up to himself,
Yeah.
and so much more so up to himself than the institution he is at. And, well, so of course it does matter where you go. And it is nicer for some people to go to one place than another, but there's nothing crucial about it at all.
Well, there's a sort of a paradox contained in this, isn't there? That is, you ought to really try to find out as much as you can before you make your choice. And you ought to act as if you're looking for that one place for you. But once you've chosen, then it often turns out that you meet a lot of surprises and discover that a lot of places might do.
That's very true. I know lots of people who've gotten into the first choice schools and have been unhappy, whereas other friends of mine have gotten into the second or third choice school and they turn out to be very happy at the place they were at.
What do you think college is for?
Well, I like to think of it as being, as preparing me for my non-occupational side of life, and only indirectly as aiding me for my occupational side, and that I'll be a better man. I'll know more what I want to do. But I like to look at it as exposing me to enough things and giving me enough interest so I'll be able to pursue these and derive some pleasure from these throughout my life.
Do you think it helps you to find out who you are?
Certainly.
There are many smaller-sized liberal arts places like Amherst College that make a specialty of broadening and extending the interests of the student. But a great number of students want something different, something bigger, with more scope, more people, more going on, something like a state university. The University of Illinois is enormous, busy, almost frightening in its drive and intensity, with lots that is old and lots that is new, and everywhere a sense of expanding. It has over 20,000 students, and always you feel this great weight of people on the move.
Did you feel shy when you came here?
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I come from a small town, what most people consider a small town. And it's so huge here, and it takes so much. I mean, there's so many, many more people from what I'm used to seeing.
And it kind of baffled you at the beginning, huh?
Yes. But I'm learning.
Did you consider other places?
Yes, I sent to 3 different schools for information. And there's one school close to home that everybody goes to. And everybody knows everybody, and it isn't really different. I mean, you don't get out and meet new people because it's just 20 miles from home, and everybody drives back and forth on weekends, and it just seemed so small to me. It just wasn't what I wanted.
You felt you wanted to go a distance. How did your people feel about it? Did you have to sell that idea to them?
No, they wanted me to do, they left the choice up to me to do anything I wanted to do. My parents never had a chance for an education, and I'm the older of the 2 in our family, and they told me to do what I wanted to do.
Well, seems to me the toughest thing is getting down to studying. It bugs a lot of freshmen pretty bad.
Yeah.
A lot of people get the idea that school's a big ball and all, but they got the wrong idea. They won't last long if that's what they got in mind.
Pretty tough, huh?
You got to come down to school with the idea that it is going to be tough, and only if you get that idea through your head can you hope to come through well. Some people don't even come through when they work like dogs all the time. But then again, college isn't all blood and sweat.
Yeah.
But I think the toughest thing for most kids is just getting down to work, study. Before I came down here, I had the idea that, holy cow, there's going to be 20,000 other valedictorians down here and salutatorians I'm going to be bucking all the time. So the only way I can catch up with these kind of guys is to study my head off. They might be smarter than me, but I'm going to study longer and better. I'm going to come out just as well. I've done pretty fairly down here.
How are your grades?
They're fair. They could be a lot better, and they will be this semester.
You're determined about that,
right.
Huh? Do you think that it's quite a shock to come to a college, come to a university? I mean, when you hit the work and all the social life and all the people, it's quite a blow.
Well, it takes quite a bit of adjustment, especially to put that social life into perspective with those studies.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It is.
Yeah. Did you make a few mistakes when you got here?
Oh, I'm sure I did, and I'll probably make quite a few more before it's all over.
The problem of how to make your way in a big university, of finding friends, balancing work and play, is one that people solve in different ways. Some join fraternities or sororities, even before starting their freshman year.
When you were getting ready to come to the university, were you worried about fitting in, about finding your place? Yeah.
Yes, I was. I think everyone worries at the size of the University of Illinois for the fact that they would be a number and be an outcast and just be a part of the group.
How did it work out for you?
It worked out fine. I think coming into a sorority house was the biggest advantage because I knew about 75 before I came here. And you get to know them and they all want you and they all are looking out for you. Then you begin to meet the students in your class and you remember them and meet them on the street.
Many students prefer to find their own way through the university without adding the Greek letters of a fraternity or sorority to their name, becoming a Greek, as the phrase goes. What does it mean to be an independent?
Well, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To me, it means that you're more or less self-reliant. You're not a member of an extremely organized group which aids you in studying, etc., sets up study rules for you. You're more on your own.
You think that's a good idea?
Yes, very good idea.
I really don't place much importance on whether a person is a Greek or an independent because I feel that there are different types of housing that fit the needs of different types of people. And for myself, I was completely happy. I live in a house of 44 girls. So we have the organization, we have the closeness, but we lack Greek letters, which doesn't particularly bother me a bit.
The range of studies at a large university is as far-reaching as a person's interests can go. Illinois is particularly strong on science, but by definition, a university is universal. There's room for a student to find himself in any subject. Many discover that meeting new possibilities changes them, gives them a new slant on themselves or their career.
Well, I started out with a different idea than I have now.
And what was your first idea?
My first idea was English education.
Yeah.
And I changed my mind, decided on music school, and now I'm in pre-nursing.
You're in pre-nursing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's a good thing to change about that way?
I don't feel that it's done me any harm.
I'm wondering whether it might not be, in fact, a good thing to try a number of things.
Well, I think if you have a very definite problem deciding and you change your mind, it's better to switch than to just stay and stick with the original choice because it's just no good if you know you don't want that.
Has money been a problem with you?
Only in that I would like to be making my own money and putting myself through college because I do have a job, but it doesn't pay enough.
Helps, though.
Yes, it gives
What
me
do you
extra
do?
spending money. I'm a microfilm reviewer at the administration building.
It's hard work, isn't it?
Well, it sounds difficult, but it's fun. It's interesting.
Oh, you like it?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't feel sort of exhausted when you finish your job and...
Well, it makes me feel good. It's a different type of thing from studying, and it just sort of a break. Like, it makes me feel good.
Why do you feel you'd like to entirely pay your own way?
I think it might have something to do with the desire of a lot of people my age to be independent from their parents.
Do you think that there's some advantage in earning? The way it makes you feel?
Yes, definitely.
What does it do for you?
Well, it makes college seem to be more alive. You are actually earning your way through school, and it means more to you to be doing this. When you know that it does cost a lot of money, it does really help. It's a real good feeling.
A big university offers the widest range of possibilities that can be packed into a single institution. Being big, it seems a big thing to tackle, and yet the students don't seem to find the reality frightening at all.
What about the university itself? Did it sort of scare you when you were figuring to come here?
Not really. There have been quite a few students from my hometown high school that have gone down here.
Yeah.
And they said that it isn't as big, or it doesn't seem as big as they say. 24,000 people down here, my gosh. But they came back and said the classes were average, and I found out that to be true.
Do you think it's helpful to be able to have people, you know, like friends in high school and so on, who've gone through this experience, to be able to talk to them?
to find out in
Yes,
advance. Yeah.
yes, I think that's very helpful. That you get the inside information then.
Yeah.
It's not just from pamphlets or books from the college, but you get what really goes on.
Yeah, it's information of a really more practical, more human sort.
That's right.
Yeah.
I went to my high school counselor, and this is a senior girls counselor, and she just gave me all the possibilities, and I took all exams for the state. I took college boards because I wasn't sure whether I'd be going to school in Illinois or out of state, and I looked into Panhellenic scholarships, teacher scholarships, and just anything that I could try.
Sounds as if you did everything possible to find
Yes,
out
I did.
Yeah. And are you happy with your choice?
I am very much so.
Do you think that this business of really trying to exhaust all the possibilities has a good psychological effect when you finally make your choice? In other words, that you feel you didn't dope off in the job of looking around. You actually did everything you could.
I think that's very true, that at least I feel that I've tried everything, and I'm very happy with my decision, and I don't regret it.
Try everything you can, said the girl at Illinois. San Francisco State College represents another sort of choice. It's in a city, and while some students live on campus, most of them live elsewhere in the San Francisco Bay Area and commute to class by automobile or trolley car. There are something like 13,000 of them. Students at San Francisco State feel involved in the affairs and issues of the community and the nation. They like a good argument. The speaker's platform in the middle of the campus is the hub of the place. Speakers like the Attorney General of the state of California come to have their say and meet the rough and tumble of question and debate. The average age of the student body is slightly higher than the ordinary. Many have transferred here from other institutions, and they're quick to say that choosing a college is not the all-or-nothing commitment young people often take it to be. They place a great emphasis on freedom. Freedom to speak, to choose, to change your mind. And everywhere you go, you strike this clatter of talk, of students holding forth on the value of their ideas, or even on the value of talk itself.
The students here have a great potential, a great opportunity, and they should take advantage of it. And to take advantage of it, they must get together, must have free and open exchanges of opinion, voice all sides of issues. And if they do, and if they will take interest, and if they will act, then they can actually influence opinion in San Francisco, in municipal politics, in local politics, in state politics, and eventually through the state of California in national and world politics.
Do you think this sort of argument is an important part of education?
I think it's probably the most important part, because by arguing and discussing things, you clarify and change your ideas.
Have you changed in your ideas?
Oh, certainly, absolutely. I change all the time.
In what way?
Well, when I came here, I was, I probably could be classified as a liberal, and due to the influence of the gestalt of college life, I have been driven to radical anarchism as a solution for contemporary American problems.
I think that the aim of education is to prepare one for life's goal. And if this is so, then certainly college life shouldn't be isolated from reality or from the life that you will meet after your college life is completed.
There's something, every place like this has got a personality of its own, a character of its own.
Oh, I would definitely describe this as non-conformist. Non-conformist. To the norm, as I would say, from what I've seen of other colleges, we do have a good deal of freedom of speech and freedom of education, and the professors are not tied down as to what they can talk on.
Is your non-conformism all of a political nature?
No, it extends all the way through. It's almost like a subculture here. As far as dress, talk, they form their own subculture. Stick-togetherness. As much as they accuse the other side, the quote-quote rah-rahs, they have also it's another subculture here.
Yeah. Is there room for real eccentricity?
But definitely, definitely. Everyone it's wide open here as far as expressing your ideas. We do have freedom of speech. As far as the speaker's platform goes, anyone and everything can be discussed up there. This is one of the reasons that we have it.
What sort of, if somebody came from A long way away. I'd never seen the place and asked you to describe it. How would you describe it, San Francisco State?
How would I describe the school itself?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I describe it as interesting and as having a little bit of everything.
Yeah. A little bit of everything?
Yes.
You think it's a fairly broad place then, huh?
Yes.
I take it that you, that sweater means something. What does it mean?
Oh, I'm a pom-pom girl.
What is a pom-pom girl?
Well, it's like a song girl. We have a football team here at school, and most schools have cheerleaders and song girls who lead yells and do routines, dance routines during halftime, during timeouts, during the football games and the basketball games.
Yeah.
So we just add song and color.
So you're a bit on the, what they call the rah-rah side,
yes.
Is that right? Uh-huh. You like that?
Yes.
Uh-huh. There's room for that here as well as the more intellectual pursuits?
Oh, yes.
Are you happy?
Yes, quite.
What's the root of happiness for you?
Being able to be myself and having others accept me as myself. I don't have to put on airs toward anyone.
Do you find it easy to be yourself here?
Yes, quite a bit.
Uh-huh. Do you think you have better luck in that line here than you might somewhere else?
Well, I was born and raised in one town, and when you go through school and you establish yourself in a certain set of roles, whatever they might be, it's hard to break those.
Yeah.
But up here, it's the area I enjoy, and that has quite a bit to do with it.
Being yourself, finding out who you are, finding out how to get where you want to go, these are the things that college is for. And these are also the things involved in choosing a college. It's not an easy task, but it's worth a lot of effort.
What do you think is the most important factor in choosing a college?
I think you first have to define what you want in a college and what you want in an education. Whether you want simply vocational training, whether you want a basis for thinking, whether you want tools to create, and then choose the college that best fits in with that definition.
That sounds like a pretty tall order, supposing you don't know the answers to some of those questions.
And I think you should pick a liberal arts college that has a wide diversity to offer, wide diversity of classes, subjects, and particularly a wide diversity of people, so that you might make up your mind as to what area you want to go into.
Give yourself a chance.
Right.
If you don't know exactly what you want from college, find a place where the possibilities will be opened up for you. If you know what you want, find the place that has it. Don't be scared by the need of making a choice. The American system of higher education is the richest, broadest, most creative that the world has ever seen. All it says is, give yourself a chance. This film has been a presentation of the College Entrance Examination Board.